Hi guys, today I thought it might be great to talk about anxiety. Um, Reason being, kids, young people are probably in school again, and most of them might feel a little bit uncomfortable. They might experience a little bit more emotions than typically. And it's important, to know that, there's a lot of increasing concern for rising anxiety among children, youth, and seniors. So it's really important for us to pay attention to that, and also for yourself, and really notice, when you might feel different sensations, feelings, emotions, right? Such as tight chest, maybe worries, maybe you overreact, maybe you lash out, maybe you isolate yourself, maybe you avoid certain people, thoughts, feelings, or emotions, right? It can be important for us as parents to ask a lot of questions so we can really make sure that, kids are dealing with their feelings in a healthy way, because we really have to learn to deal with anxiety. Reason being, if we run away from anxiety because it's a difficult emotion to feel, right? Then it can become a scam artist, right? And it can interfere with our lives and become bigger and bigger, right? So sometimes with young people especially, it can act like a bully, and can make stuff up, right? And maybe it starts avoiding certain situations and things, right? And the anxiety runs the show. So it's really important to learning that even just recognizing when we're feeling anxious, which I know is easier said than done. And often we intellectualize our anxiety by putting thoughts to it. But if we can really just start with that, acknowledging when we're anxious and really breathing into that feeling without necessarily having to judge it, could be a great start, even with like situations that are maybe less anxious. A good thing to know could be, where does anxiety come from, right? What are the contributors, right? And one of the contributors or higher causes is actually genetics, and it's also temperament, such as maybe you're shy, maybe you're timid, maybe you're very reserved or display a lot of nervousness, right? So it can come from genetics and certain um, temperament that we might have taken on from our parents or through growing up, etc. Also, another thing that we as parents have to be very conscious about is parental expectations. And sometimes, kids experience that in the form of pressures of having to perform, having to be always have good grades, right? Also, sometimes we as parents suffer from anxiety, and if we do not model effective coping and response strategies, then kids don't really learn how to regulate themselves healthily, right? So it's really important for us to find solutions and deal with our anxiety properly. Also, we have to learn to be less protective. It's okay for kids to feel distressed sometimes, because it really helps them to solve problems, right? And feel competent overcoming difficulties, with our help. Also, again, really paying attention that we don't praise the abilities of our children, because that creates a fixed mindset, meaning children can get activated feeling anxious because they have a fear of failure or not being good enough, always having to have good grades, versus, when we're able to really praise the efforts in the child, it can develop any ability through dedication and hard work. And it's important to make mistakes, and be compassionate, because that's how we learn. Also, learning tools about positive psychology, one of the newer areas in psychology, is really important, because positive psychology really gives tools, looking at what has been achieved versus dwelling on the negative. So really rewiring that brain to see the positive versus the negative. And one of the activities we talked about is, writing down 3 good things that happened over the day. Also, teaching children the language of feelings is really important, so that they can understand them, and when they're feeling that way without judgment. Because once young people are able to feel their anxiety, they can expand their repertoire of positive emotions and solutions, so that they can build that confidence and competence, overcoming anxiety, knowing that they have a choice and that there are solutions for them. So really important not to retreat from anxiety, but to really be able to support children in it, and also finding solutions for ourselves. If you, for instance, generally feel genetically inclined, or if you're genetically inclined to feel anxious, it's important to exercise, participate in sports, so you're able to burn off excessive cortisol. Make social connections, arrange dates and events, even if it's online, because that belonging is really a precursor of happiness. Also, giving yourself and your child downtime, reading, walking, chatting, daydreaming, listening to music. Again, that abdominal breathing, breathing into that feeling without judging it. Even taking cold showers when we're really anxious, right? Brings us back into that present moment and in our body. And in that way we can counteract that anxiety. We can also watch sunsets, look at our favorite pictures, listen to music, give ourselves an arm massage, going outside, having the grass under our feet, having cold water run over our wrist and hands, drink tea, really noticing what's around us, the chair, what does the chair feel like that we're sitting on, really slowing down so that we're able to like step back from that situation, and also write anything down that we are worried about. Again, it's really important that we can try to be as open as possible about how we feel, if it's something that is really necessary. Otherwise, being able to deal with different coping and response mechanisms can really help in that moment. Always trying to bring yourself back in that moment. As for what can I do right now? Breathing, right? Mindfulness. Maybe I can go outside, really practice that breathing is one of the things that always really helps me, that breathing that calms me down. And also being able to talk about uncomfortable subjects and situations so that they don't build up, right? Let's say with COVID, let's say divorces, right? Anything that is not easy to talk about, because if we pretend and suppress, then that's just something that keeps on building up over time. So it's really important that we can give our kids as much agency as possible and show them that they matter and that their feelings matter, and that we together can support them in their well-being and they can find a solution. I hope that information helped. I know it's a lot, it can be a lot, but I thought it would be important to give you a foundation background so you know where anxiety can come from, and also that it can be normal to feel anxiety, and that it's important for us to integrate healthy habits. And these healthy habits also on a consistent basis can really be that regular exercise, that healthy nutrition, right? Like those omegas and magnesium, and just organic food and vegetables. Also that regular sleeping routine, so important for our brain. Working with that breath, right? And really releasing tension when we are lying in the bed, really noticing where we might feel tense and anxious, and then really releasing that by breathing into those areas and becoming more mindful. So really taking that time to savor, eat food, and to savor that present moment right now. There are so many different mindful activities, and that could be that mindful eating, painting by numbers, it can listening to music, reading, yoga, anything, just so that you can create a little bit of that balance. Well done for taking the time to go through these exercises with me. Increase your feelings of calmness and release that anxiety. Super, super important. If you can even just practice one thing at a time daily to feel better, like that one small consistent action can make such a big difference, because when you next time experience that anxiety again, you can come back, okay, this is what really helped me, and it just becomes better and better. So I really hope this helped. Lots of love. Bye bye.